The internet is in chaos right now because a shocking new video of the so-called most dangerous cartel boss has suddenly gone viral, and everyone from government officials to everyday fans online can't stop talking about it. The clip isn't just grainy footage on a phone. It feels more like a carefully staged performance, the kind of dramatic reveal nobody expected. In the middle of the screen sits the man whose name people usually whisper, calm and smirking, surrounded by men who look more like soldiers than bodyguards. Instead of hiding, he stares directly into the camera as if daring the world to challenge him. What's even more unsettling is the timing. This video appeared just as rumors were spreading about corruption, betrayal, and families caught in the crossfire of his empire. Some insiders claim the release was intentional, a message meant to humiliate authorities who failed to bring him down. Others whisper it's all part of a family feud, with relatives fighting over power and loyalty. Whatever the truth may be, the emotions are running high, the drama is explosive, and the fallout from this viral moment is just beginning. Fans are stunned, enemies are rattled, and the family itself may never recover. The viral clip didn't just show a man. It unleashed a storm of emotions across both borders. Social media exploded within minutes, with hashtags trending in Mexico, the United States, and even Europe. Fans were dissecting every second, rewinding the shaky frames to catch a glimpse of the weapons stacked behind him, the cold expressions of the men standing guard, and the slight smirk that looked more like a declaration of war than a smile. One Twitter user wrote that it felt less like a leak and more like a movie trailer designed to make the world sit up in fear. Others insisted this was no coincidence. The timing was too perfect, too theatrical. Rumors began to swirl that the video wasn't meant for outsiders at all, but for family members who had been quietly disputing his authority. Whispers of betrayal and backroom arguments within his inner circle had been simmering for months. Cousins, uncles, and even brothers had allegedly been pulling strings, trying to secure more control over territories and the endless river of money. The clip, some said, was his way of shutting them down without uttering their names. "Look at me," the smirk seemed to say. "I am the one in charge, and I don't need to hide." Those close to the family claimed tensions had been boiling over after a relative was accused of leaking information to rivals. Whether true or not, the accusations left scars. Family dinners had turned into silent battlefields, with glances sharper than knives. Behind closed doors, arguments erupted about loyalty, about who was really protecting the legacy. The viral video, released at that exact moment, was like fuel on the fire. A neighbor from Culiacan, interviewed anonymously, described how the entire community felt trapped in the performance. "We are living inside a play," she said softly. "The actors have guns, the stage is our streets, and the audience is the whole world. But for us, it's not entertainment. It's our lives." Her words carried the weight of exhaustion, the kind of fatigue that only people living under constant shadow could understand. As media channels picked up the story, anchors tried to analyze the footage frame by frame. Was it recorded recently, or was it an older clip resurfacing at a strategic moment? The background revealed glimpses of marble floors and expensive furniture, suggesting it was filmed inside a lavish safe house. But the real shock came from his words. Calm, almost casual, he spoke about legacy, about family, about bloodlines. It wasn't just business. It was deeply personal. "Our strength," he said, "is not bought, it is born." Those words rattled people more than the rifles on the table. He wasn't just talking about soldiers. He was talking about his dynasty. Generations trained not just to fight, but to rule through fear. The emotion in his tone was chilling, like a father reminding his children of their inheritance. For ordinary families watching the clip, emotions ran high. Some were terrified, fearing that a new wave of violence was about to crash into their towns. Others, disturbingly, felt a twisted admiration. One young man from Sinaloa admitted online that he replayed the clip because it made him feel proud, as if the boss's defiance was a victory for all of them. That duality, fear and fascination, was the true power of the video. Meanwhile, officials scrambled to issue statements, but their words rang hollow. Reporters pressed the Mexican president for answers, asking how such a dangerous figure could broadcast himself so freely. The response was vague, filled with promises of investigations and cooperation with foreign agencies. In Washington, politicians voiced outrage, some demanding tougher border crackdowns, others pointing fingers at corruption across the border. But to many viewers, those statements felt like theater too. Politicians pretending to act strong while a man with a smirk controlled the narrative from the shadows. Inside his empire, insiders claimed that not everyone was happy with the stunt. Some allies feared the exposure would bring unnecessary heat, especially with rival cartels eager to exploit any weakness. Arguments reportedly broke out among commanders, some demanding that he step back into the shadows, others praising him for reinforcing his dominance. "He plays with fire," one insider allegedly confessed, "but maybe that's why we follow him, because he doesn't fear the flames." The human toll of that fear became clear in small towns where his influence stretched like invisible wires. Mothers whispered about keeping their sons indoors, terrified that the viral video would trigger a new wave of recruitment or retaliation. One mother broke down in an interview saying her teenage son had already begun mimicking the gestures of the men in the clip, pretending to hold rifles, copying their slang. "This is how it starts," she cried. "One video, and suddenly they want to be like him." What shocked many was the calculated nature of the release. The lighting, the setting, even the way he leaned back in the chair all seemed staged to convey control. Analysts pointed out how it mirrored past propaganda tactics, but with a modern twist. This wasn't just a threat, it was a brand. Memes, remixes, and fan edits spread across platforms, turning a terrifying figure into a viral phenomenon. People were laughing, joking, and sharing clips without realizing they were feeding into his legend. The drama intensified when relatives of past cartel leaders began voicing their discontent. Whispers surfaced about one cousin accusing another of betrayal, while an uncle was rumored to have fled the country after refusing to bow to the new boss's authority. Each leaked detail painted a picture of a family fractured by greed and paranoia. Fans online, always hungry for scandal, turned these rumors into trending threads, comparing the cartel saga to a twisted reality show where betrayal and loyalty decided who lived and who vanished. For those within the circle, survival hinged on choosing the right side. One insider recounted a chilling scene, a heated dinner where voices were raised, fists slammed on tables, and one family member stormed out, vowing to never return. The viral clip, released days later, was interpreted as a direct response, an unspoken warning that loyalty was not optional. It was blood-bound. While governments struggled to spin the narrative, communities whispered about the deeper meaning of the performance. It wasn't just a show of power, it was a message to everyone — family, rivals, politicians, even the public — that his grip was unshakable. Every gesture, every smirk carried layers of intimidation, carefully designed to remind the world that no matter how many raids were launched, his shadow would always stretch further. And so, as the clip continued to dominate headlines, families on both sides of the border found themselves caught between disbelief and dread. The question wasn't just who leaked the video or why, it was what storm it had just unleashed. Would this performance ignite new wars, deepen family betrayals, or spark a wave of idolization among the young? The answers remained unclear, but one thing was undeniable. The world was watching, and the drama was only getting started. The storm around the viral clip grew louder with each passing hour. What had begun as a shocking revelation quickly turned into a full-blown spectacle, as families, politicians, journalists, and even former allies scrambled to make sense of what they had seen. It wasn't just the image of the cartel boss sitting so casually that rattled people. It was the ripple effect it caused in every corner of society. Friends turned against friends as rumors swirled about who had leaked the video. One voice note, allegedly from inside the inner circle, circulated on WhatsApp groups late at night. The voice was trembling, filled with fear, claiming that a cousin of the boss himself had been the one to let the footage escape. "He betrayed us," the voice whispered. "He wanted to make his own move, but now he has signed his own death." Fans online didn't know whether to believe it, but they devoured every second. Threads popped up analyzing the supposed betrayal, with commenters throwing out theories like detectives on a crime show. One popular account even staged a live stream, role-playing the betrayal as if it were an episode of reality television, complete with dramatic music and reenactments. Viewers laughed, argued, and cried emojis filled the chat. But beneath the entertainment, there was a chilling reality. Inside the family, accusations of treachery had left wounds that could not heal. A former associate, speaking anonymously to a local journalist, revealed how emotions had boiled over behind closed doors. "The shouting was so loud the walls shook," he said. One brother accusing another, fists slammed, threats exchanged. They weren't arguing about money. They were arguing about respect, about who really carried the bloodline. The betrayal narrative gained strength when another rumor surfaced, that a key lieutenant had vanished the very night the video was posted. His car was found abandoned by a river, the windshield shattered, the seats soaked in blood. No body was discovered, but the message was clear. Loyalty was not a choice, it was a sentence, and breaking it carried consequences that echoed across generations. Meanwhile, the boss's rivals saw an opportunity. In border towns, rival banners suddenly appeared, mocking the viral clip, daring the cartel to prove its dominance. One banner dripped with sarcasm, reading, "The king performs on camera, but where is his crown?" These public taunts sent shockwaves through communities because everyone knew what came next: violence. Families packed their belongings, fleeing. Towns where gunfire was expected to erupt at any moment. One mother described the fear as unbearable. Her voice cracked as she explained how her children begged to go to school, but she refused to let them out of the house. "I can't risk it," she said. "One fight between men who want power, and my babies will pay the price." Even as fear spread, admiration swelled too. Corridos, ballads glorifying the boss, were written almost overnight. Singers uploaded rough recordings to YouTube, their voices trembling with emotion as they described him as a saint, a warrior, a leader who defied governments. Within hours, these songs had thousands of views. Fans left comments saying they felt proud to see him stand tall in the viral video, even if they admitted the consequences were terrifying. The duality of fear and fascination played out in homes across Mexico. Some families lit candles, praying desperately for peace. Others toasted with cheap liquor, raising glasses to the man in the video as if he were a hero. That divide was what gave him power, the ability to be both villain and savior depending on who was watching. Inside the family, however, cracks widened. Sources whispered about heated phone calls where accusations flew like bullets. "You embarrassed us," one relative allegedly shouted, furious that the viral clip had dragged them all into the spotlight. Another countered with venom. "You're jealous because he sits on the throne, and you don't." These words, though unconfirmed, painted a picture of a dynasty tearing itself apart in slow motion. Politicians tried to spin the chaos, but their statements only fueled more drama. One senator claimed the viral clip was proof of government success, that the boss was desperate and seeking attention. Within hours, critics mocked him relentlessly, pointing out how calm and smug the man looked in the footage. The senator's own party members distanced themselves, embarrassed by his tone-deaf response. In Washington, a heated debate erupted live on television. Pundits shouted over each other, accusing the Mexican government of incompetence, accusing American agencies of hypocrisy, accusing each other of failing to stop the crisis. The segment went viral itself, with clips of red-faced commentators yelling phrases like, "He's laughing at us," and "This is humiliation on a global stage," spreading like wildfire. And yet, the most gripping drama remained inside the cartel's inner circle. Insiders claimed that secret meetings turned volatile, with raised voices and accusations of betrayal echoing through the halls of their safe houses. One chilling detail emerged. A brother of the boss allegedly slammed his fist on the table and declared, "If he wants to show his face to the world, let him. But when they come for him, don't expect me to burn with him." The room reportedly went silent, the kind of silence that feels heavier than any shout. Fans online turned these whispers into narratives, piecing together a soap opera of betrayal, jealousy, and looming violence. They joked about it being the Narco family reality show. But for those inside, the stakes were life and death. The viral clip didn't just expose the boss to the world. It exposed the fractures within his family, the paranoia eating away at loyalty, and the dangerous possibility that enemies weren't only outside the gates, they were sitting at the same dinner table. And as the world continued to watch, one haunting question began to echo louder than the rest. Was the viral video a display of dominance, or was it the beginning of the end for the dynasty itself? The whispers of betrayal soon spiraled into something darker. The viral clip had cracked open a wound, and now everyone was watching the blood seep out. Families in Sinaloa described the air as heavy, as if every street corner carried the weight of an unseen countdown. One local priest claimed he had never seen so many people attend confessions in a single week. "They come trembling," he murmured. "Some admit to working for the empire. Others admit to betraying it. All of them fear the same thing: what happens next?" While ordinary people clung to prayers, inside the family the drama reached fever pitch. Reports of a secret gathering spread quickly, a meeting where the most powerful relatives faced each other across a long dining table. The air was thick with silence until one voice finally broke it. "You have humiliated us," an uncle allegedly spat, slamming his hand down so hard that glasses rattled. "You sit there smirking on camera while the rest of us carry the danger on our backs." The boss, calm as ever, reportedly leaned back in his chair, his smirk unchanged. "Danger is nothing new to us," he said evenly, "but respect is priceless, and I have reminded the world who deserves it." Those words cut deeper than any threat. According to one insider, his cousin exploded in rage, shouting that he had crossed a line, that the clip had painted targets on all of their families. "You play with pride while our children hide under beds," the cousin yelled. Another relative jumped in, accusing the cousin of cowardice, sparking a shouting match that nearly ended in violence. Fans online, hearing whispers of this meeting, were captivated. It felt like the climax of a reality drama where alliances crumble and bloodlines turn into battlegrounds. Hashtags like non-cartel family feud began trending, with memes portraying the relatives as actors in a chaotic soap opera. But behind the jokes was a very real possibility, that the dynasty was tearing itself apart from within. Meanwhile, politicians tried to seize the spotlight once again. In Mexico City, officials insisted that the viral clip only proved the desperation of a man cornered. But that narrative collapsed within hours when fresh footage surfaced online, unverified, but chilling nonetheless. The new clip appeared to show heavily armed men training in the hills, chanting loyalty oaths to the boss. The timing of its release felt intentional, like a rebuttal to every politician who claimed he was weak. This second wave of content sent shockwaves across border towns. One shop owner confessed that his teenage son had started mimicking the chants, his eyes glowing with fascination. "I slapped him, the father admitted tearfully. "I told him this is death, not glory, but he just looked at me and said, 'They look powerful.'" What can a father say when poverty offers nothing and violence offers everything? The human toll deepened. Communities already drowning in fear now faced a surge of idolization among the youth. In some towns, teenagers began styling themselves after the men in the video, wearing similar jewelry, posing with toy rifles, filming themselves on TikTok with corridos blasting in the background. To them, it wasn't crime. It was aspiration. The family's internal storm only worsened. One brother was rumored to have packed his bags, leaving the country altogether. Insiders said he refused to return calls, too afraid that staying near the circle would make him a target. Others whispered that he was secretly negotiating with rivals, trading survival for betrayal. In Washington, the chaos became a political weapon. Opposition leaders accused the administration of weakness, pointing to the viral clip as proof that cartels controlled the narrative. Congressional hearings turned into shouting matches, with officials demanding to know how a man could taunt the world on camera and walk free. One congressman leaned forward during a televised session and growled, "He spits in our face, and we do nothing." That clip went viral too, layering American outrage onto Mexican fear. But the most dramatic twist came when rumors surfaced that the viral clip had not been leaked by accident at all. A journalist claimed that it had been deliberately released by the boss himself, part of a grand strategy of psychological warfare. According to this theory, the betrayal narrative was a smokescreen, a way to distract the world while he tightened his grip behind the scenes. The possibility sent shockwaves through the family. If true, it meant that even the loudest arguments, the most painful betrayals, were just pieces of a script he had written long before. "He doesn't just fight wars," one insider muttered. "He writes them like stories, and we are all characters in his play." As whispers of this theory spread, fear turned into paranoia. Relatives began accusing one another of being pawns, of playing roles in the boss's elaborate drama without realizing it. Trust eroded faster than ever. One chilling story described a nephew cornering his cousin late at night, demanding to know if he was secretly helping the boss orchestrate the chaos. The confrontation reportedly ended with a fistfight, leaving both men bloodied and silent. Outside the family, ordinary people could feel the tension tightening like a noose. Schools closed early, businesses shuttered, streets emptied after dark. The viral clip had not only exposed the boss, it had trapped entire communities in the shadow of his performance. And then came the most haunting rumor of all, that another video was on its way. Fans online claimed that whispers from inside the cartel hinted at a second installment, one even darker and more theatrical than the first. Speculation ran wild. Would it show executions? Would it expose politicians? Or would it simply be another smirk? A silent reminder that he ruled through fear and fascination alike? The suspense was unbearable, and the world waited breathlessly. Every phone buzz, every alert felt like the beginning of the next act. For families, it was torture. For fans online, it was entertainment. But for the boss himself, it was exactly what he wanted. A stage where the whole world was watching, unable to look away. The rumors of a second video hung in the air like a storm cloud, and when it finally appeared, the effect was electric. Unlike the first clip, which showed the boss seated calmly with his guards, this new footage was darker, almost theatrical. Dim lighting, shadows stretching across the walls, and his voice echoing in a way that felt more sermon than statement. He wasn't just talking to rivals or governments anymore, he was addressing the people. "They say I am a ghost," he began, his tone smooth, steady. "But ghosts do not feed families. Ghosts do not build homes. I am real, and I am the reason many of you eat tonight." The words cut deep, especially in towns where cartel money had long replaced government support. Families who had felt abandoned by leaders heard those words like twisted comfort, while others recoiled in disgust at the audacity. This second video inflamed the family even more. Insiders claimed that the moment it leaked, a shouting match erupted among his relatives. One cousin reportedly screamed, "You're not saving families, you're destroying them." While another snapped back, "You don't understand loyalty, you only understand fear." The arguments turned vicious, with accusations of betrayal, cowardice, and even secret deals with rivals being hurled across the room. Friends of the family described the atmosphere as suffocating. One insider said, "They don't trust each other anymore. Every glance feels like an accusation. Every silence feels like a trap." Rumors swirled that one relative had been secretly feeding information to authorities, while another was accused of selling out territories to rivals in exchange for protection. Each rumor, true or not, deepened the fractures until the family felt less like a dynasty and more like a battlefield. Fans online couldn't get enough. They dissected every second of the new video, comparing his words to those of past cartel leaders. Some said he sounded like a prophet, others like a desperate man masking fear with arrogance. Hashtags like Nach Narco Sermon and Ashik Cartel Prophet began trending, with commentators speculating that the boss was trying to build a cult of personality, bigger than any before him. Meanwhile, in Washington and Mexico City, the outrage boiled over. American politicians thundered on television, calling the video an insult to every family who has lost a child to fentanyl. Mexican leaders promised swift action, though few believed them. Critics mocked the empty threats, pointing out that the boss seemed untouchable, free to release videos like a celebrity posting on social media. Ordinary families paid the price. In Sinaloa, a father described how his daughter wept at night, terrified that soldiers or sicarios would storm their town because of the viral spectacle. "She's only 12, he whispered. "She asks me if we will survive the week. How do I answer that?" The boss, however, appeared unmoved. His calm demeanor in the second video suggested a man who not only accepted the chaos, but welcomed it. "They try to bury me," he declared, "but I grow roots deeper than their shovels." Those words were shared endlessly online, printed on t-shirts, remixed into songs, turned into memes that spread his legend further. Within his circle, not everyone agreed with his theatrics. Some commanders reportedly warned him that flaunting his power so publicly would provoke a response unlike any before. "They will come with everything," one warned, "and when they do, the streets will drown in blood." But the boss, unflinching, replied, "Let them come. Chaos is the soil where we thrive." This arrogance sent a chill through even his closest allies. One defector later claimed that the viral videos weren't about dominance at all. They were about immortality. "He knows he can be killed," the defector said, "but he wants his name to outlive him. Every video, every word, every smirk is part of building a legend that cannot die." And so the drama stretched far beyond Mexico's borders. In Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, families devastated by overdoses raged online, demanding accountability. Vigils were held with candles and photographs of young victims, parents sobbing as they asked how a man could taunt the world while their children lay buried. In those same cities, others quietly admired the defiance, whispering that he had outplayed entire governments. Back in Sinaloa, the family saga reached its breaking point. One night, according to sources, relatives gathered in a lavish villa, tension so thick it felt like the walls themselves might crack. Voices rose, accusations flew, and at last, one relative reportedly drew a weapon. Chaos erupted. Shouts, scrambling chairs, a single gunshot echoing through the hall. Who fired? Who fell? No one could say for sure. But by morning, the villa was deserted, its doors swinging open like the set of an abandoned play. The incident sent shockwaves across the empire. Whispers of civil war spread, with factions aligning behind different relatives. Some vowed loyalty to the boss no matter what, while others plotted quietly in shadows, determined to break free from his control. Fans online turned the rumors into spectacle once again. Live streams speculated about who had betrayed whom. Comment sections buzzed with theories, and memes of the cartel family dinner flooded feeds. What was tragedy for one family became entertainment for millions. As the dust settled, the boss remained calm, appearing once more in a short clip that spread like wildfire. Sitting in the same chair as before, his smirk unwavering, he simply said, "Families break. Dynasties endure." The words were simple, but the message was clear. Whatever storms raged inside his bloodline, he believed his empire would survive. And so the world watched, divided between fear and fascination. To some, he was a monster, poisoning generations. To others, he was a symbol of defiance against corrupt governments. But to everyone, he had become unavoidable. A face, a voice, a legend crafted in real time. The viral videos had started as a shocking reveal, but by the end they had become something far more dangerous, a mythology. And like all myths, it didn't matter whether the man lived or died. What mattered was that his story had taken root in the minds of millions. A story too powerful to silence, too dramatic to forget. The chaos, the betrayals, the viral sermons, all of it has left the world in shock. But the truth is, we may never know the full story behind these videos. Were they a desperate attempt to cling to power, or were they the ultimate display of dominance from a man who has turned crime into theater? Families remain divided, politicians remain humiliated, and fans online remain glued to every new rumor like it's the latest episode of a twisted reality show. One thing is clear: the legend has already outgrown the man. Even if authorities captured him tomorrow, the viral clips would continue to spread, the songs would keep playing, and the cult of personality he has built would live on. For some, he will always be the monster who poisoned their communities. For others, he will be remembered as a dark hero who defied governments. But for all of us, he has become an inescapable symbol of how fear, power, and myth can fuse into one unstoppable force. And now, we want to hear from you. What do you think these viral videos really mean? Are they a sign that his empire is cracking under the weight of betrayal? Or are they proof that he is stronger than ever before? Do you believe governments will ever bring him down, or has his legend already made him untouchable? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you were shocked by the twists, and subscribe for more stories that dive deep into the dramas, betrayals, and scandals that everyone is talking about. Hit that bell icon so you never miss the next update. Because if these past weeks have proven anything, it's that the next chapter in this saga could drop at any moment.